Hey guys, welcome back. The title of this video is going to be, is Elon Musk the modern day Paul Revere? Is Elon Musk the modern day Paul Revere? Let me know in the comments below if you agree or you disagree or you think he's something else. Let me know, okay? This is going to be a hot topic for sure, okay? But first, if you don't know who Paul Revere is, okay, maybe you're from another country or maybe you don't study U.S. history, let's talk about him for a minute, okay? So Paul Revere is a famous American. He is famous for being a critical part to the Revolutionary War back in 1776, okay? But before the war started, he did something real controversial, guys. He did something back in 1773. And you guys know what that is? It's called the Boston Tea Party. I'm sure you've probably heard of that. All right, whether or not you're from the US or not. You've heard of the Boston Tea Party. This was where freedom was started. All right, freedom was started in 1773 when Paul Revere led a team of men and to some merchant ships and dumped a bunch of tea, okay? And these men were pissed off. They were pissed off at the establishment for taxes, all right? You've heard this story. The Americans dumped the British tea for tax reasons, all right? Part of it was because they didn't have representation and were being taxed, you know, to the sky, all right? So that is what Paul Revere did. Him and a bunch of other men, some of them were dressed up as Native Americans, by the way, and some of them weren't. They went to that harbor and they did the business. Okay, they took care of business. Okay, these men were entrepreneurs and businessmen, guys. They were businessmen and entrepreneurs. So let's get that very clear about what they were. All right, that's part of where I'm going to take this video. All right. So now after that happened in 1773, he went on this famous ride, guys, and it's called the Midnight Ride, where he rode through, I think it was Lexington and Concord, Connecticut, I think it was, or Massachusetts. I can't remember where. But he went on this ride where he warned the continental military that the British were coming. The British were coming. The British were coming. He had like a system, I think, in the harbor or somewhere where he knew they were coming, right? And that is told in almost every American textbook. We learn about this history and we revere Paul Revere, okay? We look up to those stories of American Revolution. Okay, so that's the history behind it. Okay, so now, how do we get to today? Okay, let's talk about one phrase I've heard. Okay, history never repeats itself, but it sure does rhyme. Okay, that's a quote from Mark Twain, and it's very impactful when it comes to a lot of things. All right, it's not exactly the same, but it sure does rhyme. Okay. Now here's my take on Elon Musk. He is the modern day Paul Revere. Okay, let's look at some similarities between the two, all right? He's an entrepreneur, just like Paul Revere was. He's a businessman and, you know, he means business. That's what Elon Musk is, all right? So there's a similarity. What else? Well, he's against the establishment, guys. He's against the establishment, just like Paul Revere was. Paul Revere was against the British establishment, okay? The colonials were non-established people, okay? They were the non-establishment. British were, and they were pissed off that they were getting taxed, okay? So, and there was a lot of people, guys, back in the late 1700s that were probably protesting against Paul Revere, okay? And they had something, it was called the Boston Massacre back in, I think, 1770, right? Where a bunch of British troops, massacred like 5 or 6 people. I can't remember what the numbers were. But that was a big reason why Paul Revere and these men were like the way they were. The establishment didn't like it back then. And I'll tell you what, the establishment does not like Elon Musk. And you're seeing it. You're seeing the same hate that the establishment had for Paul Revere 200 and some years ago. So that's another similarity. What's another similarity, guys? Well, let's look at the midnight ride, guys. The midnight ride that Paul Revere had. Elon Musk is doing it with Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. All right, he's doing it with X, and he's warning us against the political establishment and artificial intelligence and population decline and so on and so forth. He's warning us about these problems, and he's trying to solve them, obviously, but he's just one man. He's not going to be able to solve all these problems. So his midnight ride, his tool, isn't a horse, it's X. All right. Now, from a personal perspective, I don't agree with all the things he says. He's very kind of trollish, and he says some really mean things, to be honest. I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, I'm a Tesla investor, but I'm not going to invest with my biased political opinions or emotions, okay? I talked about this in a previous video. Don't kill your wallet with political bias, okay? So anyways, yeah, now think about it, guys. He's got set up with Doge, with Donald Trump, okay? So how's he like Paul Revere? Well, he's doing a modern day Tea Party, guys. That's what this is. This Doge initiative for the federal government is a modern day Tea Party against additional tax against the American public. And you know what? You want to know what that tax is? It's called money printing, guys. It's called money printing, all right? What this tax is it's called inflation, all right? When they turn the printer on, you get inflation. And they've been turning the printer on for, I don't know, 20, 30 years. Doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter which party it's been. None of that matters anymore. Left, right. There are 2 parties now. It's called the establishment and the non-establishment. And right now, Elon Musk, aka Paul Revere, is doing a tea party on the establishment. And they're trying to get down the government overspending to where we can stop the bleeding of inflation, guys. All right, he's warning us. He's on the horse telling us we are spiraling out of control with the debt. All right, that debt of $36 trillion, guys, is going to ruin us. It's going to ruin us. We are paying $1 trillion to service that debt. And what is he doing? He's going to hopefully save us. I really do. I honestly hope that. I hope that he is the Paul Revere of our time. We may look back 200 years and be thanking him just like we did Paul Revere today. We're thanking Paul Revere today for the freedom against, the monarchy, okay? I know you're hearing in the media that, these people are fascists and all this stuff. I don't believe it, to be honest. And to be honest, I didn't vote for Trump. I don't like the guy. I think he's a big jerk. But I'm keeping an open mind to what's going on. All right, and it might benefit our nation from spiraling out of control and in debt. Okay? The same thing goes with AGI, guys. Elon Musk has been on the midnight ride telling us and warning us about AGI. Now, he's involved in it, no doubt, but he's pushing out the concerns for it. Whether or not it's his company, XAI, or OpenAI, or Claude, or the Chinese, it doesn't matter, okay? He's warning us that we got a problem and we might want to take some precautions to deal with it, all right? Same thing goes with, population decrease. You're seeing it in China. They're having problems now, and they're going to have more problems, okay? And we're going to have the same thing. Our birth rate is what? Less than 2.1, which is the only way to maintain the current population. All right, we're going to have some financial problems if we can't deal with that, right? So young people, men and women, start hearing him out on this, okay? It's going to be a problem. So I don't know. That's just my take on the man. You know, I'm a Tesla investor. I know about these politics. I've been dealing with them for years. And, you know, I should have a right to my opinion, no doubt. You know, it doesn't make me super far to one side or the other. I'm in the middle, to be honest, all right? And this is my opinion about what is happening. The politics have changed. It's establishment versus non-establishment, and it is what it is. Be careful when you see all the toxicity online, whether it's on one side or the other. To be honest, they're both probably wrong, all right? So take a look at what's happening in the world and be positioned. Okay, this channel is about, you know, building wealth. What's going to happen with all these layoffs that are happening from Doge is we're going to see a softening of the economy. All right, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take probably a year, 2 years, maybe 3, maybe the next election cycle before we see the effects of all these canceled contracts and laid off employees. Okay, I will say one thing too. You know, I feel bad for both the Republicans and the Democratic employees of the federal government. It's not their fault. You know, it's really the fault of the high-ups in the bureaucracy and Congress. They spend like no tomorrow. It's really their fault, guys. It's not Elon Musk's fault. He's just the auditor who goes in and says, hey, you guys are spending too much. Sorry, we got to lay you off. It's no different than people getting laid off from Meta, Coca-Cola, Tesla, Microsoft. This is happening. Okay, this is happening from AI, which he's been warning us about, guys. Okay, AI has already taken the jobs of thousands of people, thousands, and no one's talking about it. Do you hear the media even talking about how AI is taking jobs? No, you don't. All you're hearing about is Elon, 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 Elon. You guys are missing the point. The point of what he's been saying is already happening, all right? And if we're not positioned as a healthy government, we will hurt even further. So that's why we have to make this sacrifice, unfortunately, for our nation's federal government, okay? So I'm going to say that Elon Musk is the modern day Paul Revere. Okay, let me know in the comments below. I know this is a controversial take, but let me know in the comments below if you guys agree, disagree, what your thoughts are, whatever, okay? I know it's a little bit of history. I like history. So anyways, you guys have a wonderful day and take a look at my previous video if you could. And thanks, guys. Bye.